My name is Father Michael Sullivan. I'm 75 years old, and for 50 years I've sat in this confessional booth listening to people's sins, murder, theft, betrayal. I've heard confessions that would shock you, but the confession that haunts me most didn't involve any crime. It was about friendship, about a man who destroyed his best friend's life, not through malice, but through envy. 2 weeks ago, a man named Thomas came to me. He was 61 years old. He'd driven 4 hours to find a priest who didn't know him. He sat down in that booth, and the first thing he said was,
"I destroyed my best friend's life 30 years ago, and he still doesn't know it was me."
What Thomas told me over the next 90 minutes made me realize something. The people closest to us, the ones we trust most, often have the power to hurt us in ways we never see coming. And sometimes they do. Thomas and his best friend Marcus had been inseparable since college, brothers in everything but blood. They built their careers together, celebrated victories together, supported each other through loss. And then, one moment of jealousy, one decision made in anger destroyed everything. Marcus never knew what hit him, and Thomas has lived with the guilt for 3 decades. I'm sharing this story because I need you to understand something. Envy is a poison that destroys both the person who feels it and the person it's aimed at. And the closer the relationship, the more devastating the damage.
Father, I don't know where to begin. My name is Thomas. I'm 61 years old, and 30 years ago, I committed a sin that destroyed my best friend's life. Not with violence, not with theft, with a phone call. One anonymous phone call that I've regretted every single day since. Marcus and I met in college. We were roommates freshman year. We became best friends immediately. Same interests, same sense of humor, same dreams. After graduation, we both went into finance. We worked at different firms, but we talked every day. We were each other's sounding board, each other's support system. When I got engaged, Marcus was my best man. When his father died, I sat with him at the hospital for 3 days. We weren't just friends, Father, we were brothers. And then something happened that changed everything.
I could hear the shame in Thomas's voice, the weight of 30 years pressing down on him. I asked him, "Thomas, what happened? What changed?"
We were both 31 years old, both working our way up in our respective firms, both hungry for success. And then Marcus got promoted, senior vice president, corner office, significant raise, everything we'd both been working toward. I was happy for him at first. I really was. We celebrated, I took him out for drinks, I congratulated him genuinely. But then, Father, the envy started creeping in. I'd been at my firm longer than Marcus had been at his. I'd worked harder, put in more hours, and he got promoted first. It ate at me. Every day, a little more, I'd see his new business cards, hear him talk about his new responsibilities, and something dark started growing inside me. 3 months later, I interviewed for a similar position at my firm. I thought I had it. The interviews went well. My boss hinted I was the front runner, and then they gave it to someone else, someone younger, someone with less experience. I was devastated, Father. But more than that, I was furious. I looked at Marcus with his corner office and his success, and I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't stand that he had what I deserved.
Thomas's voice was shaking as he told me this. I could feel the old anger still simmering beneath the guilt. "What did you do, Thomas?" I asked.
One night I was at a bar, alone, drinking, and I overheard something. 2 guys from Marcus's firm were talking. They didn't know I knew Marcus. They were talking about how their company was investigating some expense reports. Nothing major. just routine audits. But they mentioned that several senior executives are being looked at, including Marcus. And Father, they said something else. They said the investigation was focused on a client dinner Marcus had expensed 6 months earlier. A dinner that cost $3,000, expensive wine, premium steaks. Marcus had listed it as a client meeting, but apparently there was no record of which client. It was sloppy bookkeeping. That's all it was. Marcus had probably just forgotten to write down the client name, but sitting there in that bar, drunk and angry and jealous, I saw an opportunity. I went home and I made a phone call. I called Marcus's company compliance hotline. I didn't give my name. I told them I had information about improper expense reports. I told them Marcus had been taking personal friends to expensive dinners and billing them as business expenses. I told them to look at that $3,000 dinner from 6 months ago. And Father, I made something up. I said, I was at that dinner. I said there was no client there, just Marcus and his friends. It was a lie, a complete lie, but I knew it would trigger a deeper investigation.
The confessional was silent for a long moment. I could hear Thomas breathing heavily, reliving that decision. What happened after you made that call? I asked, though I already knew it wouldn't be good.
The investigation expanded, Father. They started looking at all of Marcus's expenses for the past 2 years, and they found other things, small things, a rental car that might have been personal, a hotel stay that didn't quite match up with a business trip, nothing criminal, just gray areas, the kind of things that happen in business all the time. But because of my anonymous tip, they assumed the worst. They assumed Marcus was stealing from the company. 3 months later, they fired him. Not just fired him, Father, they publicly accused him of fraud. It made the trade publications. His name was destroyed in the industry. He couldn't get another job in finance. Nobody would touch him. His wife left him a year later. The stress, the shame, the financial pressure. She took their 2 kids. Marcus lost everything. His career, his marriage, his reputation, his future. And Father, the worst part, he called me through all of it. He called me crying, asking how this could happen. He called me asking if I thought he'd done something wrong. He called me asking for advice, for support, for help finding a new job, and I gave it to him. I comforted him. I told him it wasn't his fault. I helped him with his resume. I made calls on his behalf, all while knowing I was the one who destroyed him. He never suspected me, not once, because we were best friends, because he trusted me completely.
I've heard many confessions of betrayal, but something about this one was particularly cruel. The intimacy of it, the ongoing deception. Thomas, I said, you stayed friends with him after this?
For 10 more years, Father. We stayed best friends for 10 more years. I watched him struggle, take lesser jobs, work retail for a while. I watched him become a shell of who he used to be, and I kept pretending to be his friend. Eventually, he moved away, took a job in another state. We lost touch gradually, different cities, different lives. But Father, I kept something, a photograph. It's from the week after Marcus got that promotion, the one that made me so jealous. We're at a restaurant celebrating, both of us smiling, arms around each other's shoulders. Marcus is holding up a glass and a toast. His face is full of joy and hope, and I'm smiling too. But if you look closely at my eyes in that photo, you can see it, the envy, the resentment, the darkness that was already starting. I've kept that photo in my wallet for 30 years. Every single day I see it. It's my penance, Father, my reminder of who I really am. 2 months ago, I found Marcus on social media. He's 61 now, like me. He works as a manager at a hardware store. He never recovered his career, never remarried. His kids are grown. I saw pictures. They look happy, but Marcus looks tired, worn down, like life beat him. And I did that to him. One phone call, one moment of jealousy, and I destroyed my best friend's entire life.
Thomas pulled out his wallet and showed me the photograph through the confessional screen. Two young men, 31 years old, full of promise, one celebrating success, the other hiding poison in his heart. I asked Thomas the question I ask everyone. Why are you here now? Why confess this after 30 years?
Because I'm dying, Father. Pancreatic cancer, stage 4, 6 months, maybe less. And I can't die carrying this secret. I can't face whatever comes next, knowing I never told the truth. I thought about calling Marcus, telling him what I did. But what good would that do now? It would destroy what little peace he's found. He'd spend his remaining years knowing his best friend betrayed him. So I came here instead, to confess to you, to God, to finally say it out loud. I destroyed my best friend's life because I was jealous, and I can never make it right.
Thomas died 3 weeks ago. I saw his obituary online. I don't know if he ever told Marcus the truth. I hope he didn't, for Marcus's sake. But I'm telling you this story because envy is one of the most destructive forces I've ever witnessed. It doesn't just hurt the person you're envious of, it destroys you from the inside. It makes you capable of things you never thought you'd do. Thomas wasn't a bad man. He wasn't evil. He was a good friend who made one terrible decision in a moment of weakness, and it poisoned the rest of his life. If there's someone in your life you're envious of, deal with it now. Don't let it fester. Don't let it grow, because envy will make you do things you can never undo. It will turn you into someone you don't recognize, and by the time you realize what you've done, it will be too late to take it back. Marcus never knew what his best friend did to him. Maybe that's a mercy, but Thomas knew. And he carried it every day for 30 years. That photograph in his wallet, a daily reminder of his betrayal. That was his hell. Don't create your own. If you're feeling envious, talk to someone, work through it. Don't act on it. Don't let it control you, because the damage you do in a moment of jealousy can last a lifetime for everyone involved. This channel exists to share these truths, these warnings, these lessons learned too late. If Thomas's story meant something to you, subscribe. Turn on notifications. There are more confessions coming, more warnings that need to be heard. And if envy is something you're struggling with right now, please deal with it before it's too late. Before you make a decision you'll regret for the rest of your life. The clock is ticking. What kind of friend will you be?